Welcome to Torben, Cole, and Sohil's podcast on MVP predictions for the 2019-2020 NBA basketball season.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is the reigning MVP from last year and once again has a high chance of winning.
Mike Prada thinks Giannis Antetokounmpo will win again. Anthony Davis is the early narrative favorite. Stephen Curry has the most 2017 Russell Westbrook potential. James Harden still exists, and Joel Embiid looms as an interesting dark horse if he can stay healthy. But the Bucks should still be the East's best team, and Antetokounmpo will be motivated to add to his game after his postseason failures last season. This is a safe pick, though possibly a boring one. I believe Anthony Davis will be the MVP for the 2019-2020 season. He's playing along one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James, and have a very stacked Lakers team, and I would believe will go to the NBA Finals and win.
Is a good prospect for the 2019-2020 MVP. He is playing with the Toronto Raptors and is one of the best players on that team. Last year, he got his career high of 44 points and 10 rebounds alongside Kawhi Leonard. Without Kawhi Leonard being on the Toronto Raptors, Pascal has a shot to carry the Raptors to an Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks or 76ers. I strongly believe if Pascal keeps up this good attitude and good work ethic, he could become the 2019-2020 MVP. Pascal hadn't blown up until last year until they won the championship.
Anthony Davis's night last night ended early due to mercy rather than pain. The six-time All-Star needed just 31 minutes over 3 quarters to rack up 40 points and 20 rebounds, bullying his way to 27 free throws as he led the Lakers to a 120-91 blowout win. By the end, the Staples Center crowd had saluted the summer's big catch with multiple standing ovations. There were plenty of MVP chants, too. Anthony Davis leads the league in minutes, 37.3 minutes per game, is tied for second in scoring, 28.7 points per game, is fourth in rebounding, 13.4 rebounds per game, and second in blocks, 2.6 blocks per game. Harden leads the league in scoring, 33.3 points per game, but by a significant margin, and leads all players with 152 made threes. Anthony Davis has already received high praises from the King, saying, "I don't think he's even scratched the surface yet," LeBron James warned.
Leonard has led the Raptors to the most wins in the NBA, 28-11. Is fifth in scoring, 27.3 points per game, and continues to play his elite brands of defense. Curry is tied for second in scoring with Davis, second in made threes, and seventh in three-point percentage. And Embiid has been a beast for the process Sixers, sitting at 7th in scoring, 26.9 points per game, 3rd in rebounding, 13.6, and tied.
My MVP prediction for the 2019-2020 season is James Harden. I think James Harden is the best scorer in the world, the most unstoppable offensive force in the world, and for now, I want to believe he and Russell Westbrook are going to work. Steph Curry is an obvious choice, but I'm not convinced he's going to be able to carry his team past a bottom seed in the West. Also, he just suffered a broken hand, so will likely be out for a good portion of the season. Giannis could repeat, but after a year of watching, teams are bound to find ways to better exploit his weakness shooting the ball. Meanwhile, the bearded one is out hoisting one-footed threes just to spite things up. MVP status.
I think Curry will win the award because Curry never actually lost his crown as the league's most valuable player from 2014 to 15 and 15 to 16 seasons. He willingly surrendered it to accommodate Kevin Durant. Now Durant is gone and Curry is ready to pick up right where he left off of. Curry has never been one for gaudy numbers, but with Klay Thompson out and weaker Warriors team, likely to need him to play more minutes than ever, except a new career high school in scoring the soon-to-be 3-time MVP.
Westbrook won his MVP the season after Kevin Durant left for Golden State in free agency. That season, Westbrook averaged a triple-double, the first to do so since Oscar Robertson in 1961-62. Harden won his after finished second twice in other bids, 2015 and 2017. Antetokounmpo clinched his after turning in the finest season Milwaukee had seen since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won the third of his record 6 MVPs in 1973-1974.
I believe a major sleeper for this year's MVP is Joel Embiid. Whether or not Joel Embiid will be the MVP depends on how healthy he is and what kind of shape he is in. The 76ers have won 50-plus games each of the last 2 seasons. Embiid was 7th in MVP voting last season as he averaged career high in points, rebounds, and assists. If everything goes well for Embiid and he focuses on kicking everyone's butts down low this season, he could jump over 30 points a game and get the Sixers into a top spot in the Eastern Conference and make a run for the finals.
Another candidate for MVP is Karl Anthony Towns. Towns hasn't been shy about his desire to be the man in the middle of the Wolves franchise rebranding. Even as Kyrie Irving scored 50 in the season opener, it was Towns who truly dominated in that game. He regularly piled up nights like that under coach Ryan Saunders, who has embraced the increased leadership role Towns has sought this season. The talent has never been in question concerning Towns. Now he can showcase too.
One of the top duos in the NBA today from the Los Angeles Clippers are Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is currently out with an injury. However, he still has a very high chance to win MVP, along with Kawhi Leonard, both coming off of stellar seasons last year. George said he's progressing really well, but declined to offer a timetable, while last month there were rumors that he could miss the first 6 weeks. Even when he's back on the court, he'll be playing next to Leonard, likely sacrificing some of the scoring we saw through the first half of last year's Thunder season. An MVP for Paul George would mean a full recovery from a surgery, a return earlier than expected, and probably an extended absence from Leonard that forces George to carry the load and keep the Clips afloat at the top of the West. It's not inconceivable, but it seems very unlikely. Then there's Kawhi. At his introductory press conference, he said he'll approach this year's rest schedule on a game-by-game basis, but that he intends to play the full season. Make of that what you will. He's healthier than he was at the beginning of last year's regular season, in which he played 60 games, but he's also someone who struggled with nagging injuries for much of his career, including at the end of last year's playoffs. The case for Kawhi's MVP isn't complicated. He can anchor the Clippers through George's absence, and his routine excellence will be much harder to ignore after the world watched him break the NBA last spring. Maybe the league belongs to him now. I just have a feeling that his story will be more announced than a full-blown takeover. And either way, I can't imagine he or the Clippers will care enough about the regular season to make a sustained MVP run across 7 months. Harden has been unbelievably productive over the past 5 seasons. We're never far from a reminder of how great his numbers have been in the regular season, but there are 2 problems this year. First, I can't imagine that he could ever improve on last year's performance. 36.1 points per game, 7.5 assists per game, 6.6 rebounds per game. And second, maintaining Houston's foothold near the top of the West will be harder than ever. Throw in uncertain dynamics with Westbrook and talk of a concerted strategy for rest, and this might be the season we see Harden take a small step back in MVP conversations. Then again, a lot of that same rationale has been there for the past few seasons, and he's continued to shred the league. Therefore, he is still my pick for MVP. A surprise addition to this year's MVP race is Nikola Jokic. Jokic in the playoffs last year averaged 25.1 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, 8.4 assists per game, 50.6% from the field, and 39.3% from 3. He was voted first-team All-NBA at the end of last season, but I'm not sure the NBA community has properly reckoned just how dominant he can be. Maybe that's what comes this season. The Nuggets have a good chance as anyone at filling the vacuum created by the Warriors' attrition. So if the Bucks stumble, if the Lakers supporting cast handicaps their stars, if Clippers and the Sixers play for the postseason and rest Kawhi and Embiid, why can't Jokic carry the Nuggets to the top of the West and bring this award back to Serbia? You're getting good value for a guy who's almost guaranteed to finish somewhere in the top 5 of MVP voting. It may be crazy to write that he could actually win it, but Jokic is 24 and just beginning to enter his prime. After this season, it could be a long time before anyone will dismiss him as an MVP pick.